Tributes to Ronnie have been pouring in today. Comedians, politicians and fans have been telling their stories about the man who entertained millions.
But now let's hear it from Ronnie himself in his own words.
Welcome to Ronnie Corbett's world of comedy. I think I'd gone through school being pretty dull and average at best at most things, so although I was never curious enough for a little person, never bullied or never ever victimised at all. So perhaps I was a wee bit of a brighter spark than I thought I was, because I was never unhappy at school. I didn't see myself as being a comic in those days. Although most of the actors I chatted to, they say, "What do you want to do?" I said, "Well, I'd love to be in the theatre." And they would say, "Well, your shape of you and the size of you and the, I would think you're going to be a comedian." David Frost rang me up and said, "Could I take you to tea?" And he took me to tea at the Ritz. We went to tea and he said, "I'm going to do this show called The Frost Report, and Jimmy Gilbert has asked a chap called Ronnie Barker to do it, and I've asked a chap called John Cleese to do it, and I'm asking you now to do it." The two Ronnies came about really through an extension of our doing Frost on Sunday. We were doing it from the Palladium, where we were hosting what was then BAFTA.
And we have just heard that due to bad weather, the strike at Heathrow has been diverted to Manchester.
The show will start like that, will end like that.
And it's good night from him.
The musical item before, film item in there. Then there'll be sketches.
F-U-N-E-X.
And there'll be Ronnie's bit.
And I'm squeaking to you tonight.
There'll be my bit.
Here is a very funny joke.
That shape remained the same throughout.
Well, there we are. My secret's out. I'm glad for all our sakes. Come, let's sit down. The weather's fine. We'll have some tea and cakes.
I did, I think, become a better comic actor under Ronnie's influence, and I think he thinks I brought a bit of kind of vaudeville jollity to him.
They pay me in washers and call me a scrubber, Sultan Sultana, a bit of banana, no great sugar.
So I had all these kind of vaudeville skills, a bit ahead of Ronnie. Perhaps Ronnie didn't feel so nimble on his feet because he hadn't done song and dance to the same extent as I had done. We decided that it would be more calming and more direct and more personal if I was sitting in a chair actually talking from the black. If they were particularly tough, I used to say to them, "Now, I'm going to do this a little bit again, and if you're not sure when to laugh, I'll touch my glasses," like that, you see.
We've had a bit of trouble with our front door, I don't mind telling you. It caught Dutch elm disease. That's not a pretty sight.
The two Ronnies was liberating. We hadn't worn our welcome out or anything. We were still, a big Saturday night show, but Ron had lost his appetite for it. So I had to, I had a year and a half to think what I might do after that. Fortunately, at the time, I was still doing Sorry, so at least I had that to do in the summer. But I didn't want him for a minute to think that, from my pride point of view, I was being left in the lurch, and I wasn't.
Humble apologies to the two fat ladies from the one fat man.
There's a feeling that I am a little more diminished on my own than in fact I am. You wouldn't change anything. I could have had a more charmed life, really.
Well, he did lead a charmed life, and what a legacy he's left.